So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to introduce myself for those of you that may not know who I am. I know that many of you we've done scans for, and there's some of you that are from the Atlanta area that you were in meetings there with Fred and Anita Shelton. But my name is Dr. Roz, and I am a wellness coach here. I'm so privileged to be here as a wellness coach. Uh, and all of the information. Some of you have been here in other nights when you've heard Dr. Prince. Well, he's our master teacher. And everything I know, I've learned from him. And I know that Michael Burns is here, and he also has been tutored by Dr. Prince. Uh, I've done a lot of different things, as you can see on here, but I'm really proud to just be here to share with you what we're doing and how we're able to do it. The name of our company, first to start off, is Akana, and it means in the hands of God. We launched on 4/20 of 2019 with a line of CBD products, then essential oils and wellness added to that in 2020. Then in 2021, something you're going to hear a lot about tonight, the flat belly lifestyle. We actually have more than this number is old, 30,000 customers, and we're privileged to reinvest 1% of our gross profits to empower undeserved communities. We are excited and privileged to have a full medical advisory board of MDs and RNs and LVNs, and we have naturopaths like Dr. Prince. We have social workers. We have those that are herbalists, those that are involved in fitness and wellness. But the thing that's important about this medical advisory board is that they don't just use our products for themselves, but they also endorse our products for their families as well as their patients. Now, here's some exciting things that are happening in the land that we live in, and it's exciting, but it's also disturbing. See, in 2020, nearly 700,000 people died from heart disease, and 25% of them, the only first time they found out was at death. But see, here's the thing: 90% of that heart disease is preventable. And whether you know it or not, I know many of us, we know that the leading cause of death is heart disease, and the second leading cause of death is cancer. But here's what you may not know is that before COVID-19, the third leading cause of death was medical error. So oftentimes we've been diagnosed with something that we really shouldn't have been diagnosed with. And because I am not a medical doctor, my doctorate is actually in theology and divinity. I always like people to hear from the voice of physicians. So check out this video.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the US already have fatty.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the US already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer's in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
That's amazing. And these are doctors that are telling us it's the food. This is a doctor who's saying to us that they're not in the business of preventing sickness. They're in the business of treating sick people. Our CEO coined a phrase some time back called chewicide, because literally that's what we're doing. We're digging our graves with our fork because of too much animal protein and processed food and sugar, salt and sugar. And remember, I remember back in the day, I'm a baby boomer. I couldn't wait to get home to finish my homework, practice my music because I'm a musician, and then go outside and play. Sedentary lives. Now we're sitting in front of the computer. Kids are sitting in front of the games that they're playing, the video games. So we've got too much animal protein that's impairing our kidneys and our organs and our cells. And that's why you did that bioscan, so that you could know what's going on in your cells. Now I'm giving you time to make sure you got your paperwork together, or if you took pictures of your particular scan report, because we're going to go through this line by line. Even Dr. Oz said it like this: our genetics load the gun, but our lifestyle pulls the trigger. There's not a time that I have a person that tells me, well, my mother had a heart attack, my father had a heart attack, my grandmama had a heart attack, so heart disease just runs in my family. But here's what runs in our family. We eat like they ate, so we have what they have. Now, let's get into this. You've got a bioscan report, hopefully in front of you, whether you printed it out or whether it's on your phone. So I want you to look at that. You see all these beautiful colors, but look at that first column. It relates to the items that are tested. The second column is the normal range. The third column are the actual measurements. These are your actual measurements because you gave us actual data to put into the bioscan, into our computers, to give you your own personal report. Then you see colors. 4 colors: green, blue, yellow, and red. Now let's talk about those colors because that's where we're going to focus. Green means normal. Blue means mildly abnormal. Yellow means moderately abnormal. And red means severely abnormal. I also like to use the term out of balance. Out of balance is not disease. It just means we're going in the wrong direction. Because as I've learned from Dr. Prince, all disease is progressive. You don't have anything. I don't care if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, whatever it is. If it's an autoimmune disease, it did not happen overnight. It happened over time. And that's why when we look at the progression, we see there's some colors on the left and there's some colors on the right. On the left means there's a decrease. On the right means there's an increase. In other words, if anything is on the left, in the blue, the yellow, or the red, it means that that particular item is not working as efficiently as it should be. If it's on the right, it means that particular item that we're going to look at was tested is overworking. It's the wonderful way that God made our bodies. That's what keeps us alive. When something's not working as efficiently as it should, something else has to overwork. So we want to find out not what it is. Like when we go to the doctor, they say they're diagnosing us with something, but what's causing the increase or the decrease? What's causing that lack of efficiency or the overworking of that particular item? We're going to look at tonight the plaque, the buildup. We're going to look at tonight what area of your body are you lacking in oxygen, or maybe where there's mucus and parasites that are building up, that have built up over time. And remember, your report is not based on what you did last night, last week, or last month. It's based on what's been taking place in your body since you were a teenager up until now. We also are going to see where are the toxins that build up. Guys, let me tell you something. When we walk outside, we breathe in toxins. When we eat from animal protein, we're getting toxins because as Dr. Prince says, it's dead meat. It's dead carcasses. And it's been that way a long time before it ever gets to our plate. And then deficiencies. Do you realize that you can eat good things, but every time you heat it up, you're heating out the good things or the good vitamins or the good minerals that are in there? And so we're walking around every day with deficiencies that are likely causing diseases in our body. And then, is your body acidic? So now let's get into the report. The first report that you have that we're looking at tonight is cardiovascular and cerebrovascular. That means the heart and the brain. Now, when you look at your report, you see those items on the left, all the way down to the last two. Everything above those last two relates to your heart. The last two relate to your brain. Now let's get into the colors. And I'm going to pair some things together because they just kind of go together. When you see one off, you see the other off. So let's look at the first and the third item, blood viscosity and blood fat. Now, both of these probably are in the same place. If yours is in the blue, the yellow, or the red, first and foremost, blood viscosity. What is blood viscosity? It means your blood is thicker than it should be. You know how it is when we change the oil in our car? Why do we do it? Because the oil gets dirty. And when the oil gets dirty, it's sludge that's going through the engine. And so now we have to do what? Get an oil change. Well, you can't get an oil change unless you get a blood transfusion. But when your blood is thicker than it should be, it's having a difficult time getting through. And oftentimes, the reason, as you see blood viscosity and blood fat working together, because those fatty tissues are causing your blood to not go through your arteries as easy. So now it's got to overwork to get there. And when it overworks, it raises up blood pressure. You go through all these kinds of things within your body. And then many times we'll see the fact that even cholesterol is another factor because of our diet. If your cholesterol crystal, looking at that second item, is in the blue, is it in the yellow, or is it in the red? Remember what I said. If it's in the blue, it's mildly out of balance. If it's in the yellow, it's moderately out of balance. And if it's in the red, it's severely out of balance. We got to do something about it. Because guess what? I'm telling you, if yours is in the red, more than likely, you're probably already on cholesterol medication. But I'm going to show you tonight other ways other than medication to deal with this cholesterol. One of the ways is to stop eating highly cholesterol-rich foods. Oh, yeah, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, here it is. These are the things many of us have grown up on that we love. I'm guilty. I'm a French fry connoisseur. But the wonderful thing about me going through this program, all of a sudden, McDonald's fries taste salty. Well, they didn't just become salty. They've always been salty. But as I've gone through our detox program that you're going to hear about tonight, all of a sudden my palate has changed. All of a sudden my desires have changed. But if you're that person, again, don't shoot the messenger. Just know this is the reason why your cholesterol is up. And know that this is going to be a thing that you can correct. It's time, as Dr. Prince would say, for us to take control of our health. Now let's look at vascular resistance. That's the fourth item on your report. Vascular resistance, is it in the blue, the yellow, or the red? To the right. Remember I said to the right is an increase. Vascular resistance, if it's to the right, you're either dealing with one or two things. One might be stress, because I've learned that stress, I mean, all of us know stress can kill you, but I've learned that it's not always what you're eating, but it's what's eating at you. And if your vascular resistance is in the blue, the yellow, and especially if it's in the red, oh, let me tell you something. We've got to correct this thing. But also, it relates to blood pressure. Now, I have people on a daily basis, that are already on blood pressure medication. And I ask them this question. If you look at these four circles, and you recognize that that first circle is blood coming through your arteries, and it's basically that's what it takes to keep you alive. And we look at the third circle that has plaque along the walls and blood coming. I always ask, do you think that you need the same amount of blood to go through the first circle as you do in the third circle? And people will often tell me, no, you don't need that. No, surely the same amount of blood can't flow through the third circle. And I'll say, yes, it can. But it's harder to get through. It's got to push harder. And the heart, because you got to have a certain amount of blood to keep you alive, right? But if it has to push harder to get through the third circle because of the plaque buildup around the walls, as it's pushing harder, it's doing what? Raising your blood pressure. But what's the solution? Let's dissolve that plaque, get it back progressively to the first circle where you have no plaque buildup, and all of a sudden you no longer have a blood pressure problem. You no longer have to be on the dosages of blood pressure medicine. But also notice that if we do nothing, if you come to this presentation tonight, this analysis tonight, and you are in the blue, the yellow, or the red, especially the red, and you've got that plaque buildup, you're headed towards that blocked artery. What is that blocked artery? That's called a heart attack or a stroke. So we've got to cleanse and detox that blood vessel to get that the plaque buildup around the artery dissolved. All right. So now let's go to these three on the left that I'm looking at right now. One's called vascular elasticity, one's called coronary artery elasticity, and one's called cerebral blood vessel elasticity. Now, what's the common denominator? That word elasticity. How many of you ever heard of something called hardening of the arteries? Yeah, most of us have. Well, when you look at the picture here on the right, you see a perfect artery with blood flowing through, and it's elastic. It's flowing through like a rubber band. That's what it's supposed to be. But when plaque builds up because of our diet, because of our animal protein, and remember, I'm not talking about what you did last night, last week, or last month. I'm talking about the progression that's been taking place in your body since you were a teenager up until now. When that plaque starts to build up, what does it do? It hardens that artery. There lies the term hardening of the arteries. And if it hardens it too much, then we see the last picture where that artery breaks, and that's called a stroke or a heart attack. And then they've got to do surgery if you lived through it and put a stent there to complete that artery. But let's go back. Let's remove that plaque. Let's dissolve that plaque. And we're going to teach you tonight. We're not just going to talk about the problem. We're going to talk about the solution. How to remove and dissolve that plaque to get you back to a healthy blood vessel that will have its elasticity. Now, I showed you three different ones, right? Vascular, coronary, and cerebral. Elasticity was the common denominator, but the difference in these three, and you're looking at your report, is it in the blue, the yellow, or the red? In either one of those three places, because the situation is vascular elasticity is around the heart, coronary artery elasticity is on the heart, and cerebral elasticity is in the brain. So now we're trying to discover, where is the plaque building up? Is it around your heart? Is it on the actual heart, or is it on the brain? Because either way, we need to cleanse and detox those arteries and get them back to an elastic moving so that the blood and the nutrients and the oxygen can flow through these areas of your body. Now, the next one, myocardial blood demand. As you can see, it will probably be to the right. If it's not in the green, it's going to be to the right, meaning it's overworking. Well, what is it? It means every 60 seconds, your heart demands a certain amount of blood to get to the heart. And you wonder, why is it having to work so hard? Well, just go back and look at your other areas in your body. If that elasticity was over on the yellow and the red, if your vascular resistance was in the red on the right, if you cholesterol, see, the whole body works together. It's the wonderful way. We're so wonderfully made. But now you're working harder. And you know how you know you're working harder? You want to know if you're in shape or not? Go up some stairs. That's when you really, really can tell how good of a shape you're in. How many of you have been climbing upstairs and you get up a few stairs and you're grabbing your heart? You're going through and you're huffing and puffing. Well, see, that myocardial blood demand is supposed to push and give us more oxygen to do that, even when you work out. But now, because there's a blockage, because it's not functioning, it's having to overwork to get it done, and you feel that little chest pain. And we ignore it. We just keep on moving. We don't realize it's really giving you a sign that there's something that you need to take care of. So that myocardial blood demand. Now, on the left-hand side, myocardial blood perfusion volume, look at your report. Is it in the blue, the yellow, or the red? To the left. And it can be to the left or to the right, but we want to take a look at it because we understand that every time that you breathe, every time that you do anything, there's a flow that's supposed to be taking place regarding your artery, right? And the purpose of that artery, I told you, deficiency comes from the lack of oxygen, It comes from mucus and parasites. It comes from all these things taking place that are supposed to give us the nutrients, not just blood flowing through your body, but nutrients. Oxygen is flowing through your blood to your heart. And so that perfusion, meaning the gases are coming together, you've got to recognize it's not working as good as it should be if it's to the left, in the blue, the yellow, or the red. Myocardial oxygen consumption. Yes, yes. See that the words are right there. Consumption. There's a certain amount of oxygen that's supposed to be consumed in your body every single time your heart beats. Blood's supposed to come through. Oxygen's supposed to come through. And if you've got other areas in your heart that are causing it to be inefficient, ineffective, guess what? This is overworking. You're working harder. Your heart is working harder than it should be. And let me tell you something. Over time, that's what leads us to the heart attacks and the strokes and the aneurysms. So we want to make sure we do what? We got to clean this up. You ought to start telling yourself, based on what you're looking at, I'm ready to clean this up, because that's what you can do. Now I'm going to pair these next two together, stroke volume and left ventricular effective pump power. Now, don't get alarmed. If you're looking at your stroke volume, and it's over in the blue, the yellow, or the red, don't get alarmed. It does not mean you're about to have a stroke, because every time the heart contracts, that's called a stroke. But what it does mean, it lets you be able to determine how healthy your heart is. Your left ventricle, the same thing. But here's a solution. Exercise. Yep, you got it. Exercise. And I don't want anybody to tell me you can't exercise. And people tell me, well, I got a bad back, and I got a bad knees, and I got a bad. Oh, listen, you can turn a YouTube video on anywhere and get some exercise done. I did one once with a lady. She was sitting in a chair and she was just exercising. I was exercising with her, and I started huffing and puffing. And she said, okay, that was the warm up. I went, my God, the warm up. Yeah. See, so there's no excuse. Maybe you can't get to a gym. Maybe you don't want to pay for a gym membership. Whatever. You can find a way to be consistent, because it's about consistency in doing exercise. And then the left ventricle ejection impedance. See, let me tell you something. The job of the left ventricle is to send the blood from the heart to the other areas of your body. Are you dealing with varicose veins? Are you dealing with lack of oxygen down to your legs and some other areas of your body? Well, that's what that impedance is all about. So it's having to work harder to get that blood to the other areas of your body. Now, going on down, the coronary perfusion pressure. Every time you see the word coronary, we're talking about on the heart. And we know that pressure builds up against the walls of your arteries, because the artery is only so large, so it can only get so much through it. And when we're letting that trash get all the way through our body, we're letting the toxins get through our body. Yeah, you heard me right. We're letting it. And then now we see that this area of our body is having to work harder than it should be. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is the brain tissue blood supply, because we already talked about the cerebral blood vessel. Remember, that's on the brain. That's that hardening of the arteries on the brain. But brain tissue blood supply status, well, it speaks for itself. Your brain needs blood to flow through the brain tissue. So if it's on the left-hand side, it's not working as efficiently as it should, and it's causing us to have blood clots. How many of you have been on the phone with one person and one day, the next day, you heard they had an aneurysm, or your next day they had a heart attack or a stroke? Every time I talk about this, I'm reminded of LeBron James' son, who's at the epitome, at the height of his career, just got started going to college, hoping to play basketball with his dad one day in the pros, and he had a what? Cardiac arrest. Didn't look like anything wrong with him on the outside. That's why I have to applaud you for taking the time out of your schedule to take that bioscan, because you're able to find out. People tell me all the time, well, I don't want to know what's going on. No, what you don't want to know is that you could have prevented something before it became critical. See, I don't want to go to the doctor and just find out I have something, and then they tell me, take a pill. And then they say, okay, that pill didn't work, so take another pill. No. Tell me if I'm going in the wrong direction. I live in Texas. If I get on the highway going to California and I'm driving east, I need somebody to tell me I'm going in the wrong direction. And so again, I applaud you for being here tonight because you took the bioscan to find out what direction are you going. And we've just looked at the heart and the brain. So guess what? We're going to talk about solutions before we leave here because I don't want to know that I'm going in the wrong direction when I get to Miami. I would rather know when I get to Beaumont or Port Arthur, Texas, or maybe tell me when I'm in Louisiana. But don't wait till I get all the way down to Miami, Florida, and then tell me I'm going in the wrong directions because California is west and not east. All right. So now let's go to our next report. The next report is about your gut health. And there's a reason that I do this report because 70% of your immune system is in your gut. Do you realize that if we had better gut health, we wouldn't be worried about COVID 19, 20, 21, 22. We wouldn't be worried about a pandemic because you would have better immune system because the people that were attacked were those who had their immune system deprived. So now let's look at your gastrointestinal function. Looking at your report, the first thing you see on that report is something called pepsin. Pepsin. Where's your pepsin? Is it in the blue? As you can see on this report, this was in the yellow. And I really get concerned when I see the yellows and the reds. Pepsin is an enzyme that is responsible for breaking down your protein. Now, what is your protein? Your animal protein. Now, somebody tell me, well, I just don't eat beef. Did I say beef? I said animal. I said anything that's got eyes. And see, this enzyme is responsible for, I call it your chewer. It's the one breaking down your food because we don't chew it enough. And then you're eating an apple and you got a whole piece going down. So something's got to work to break stuff down for you. And when it does not break it down over time, just imagine how long you've been eating. How long you've been eating animal protein, meat, beef, pork, chicken, turkey, all of that. Just think about how long you've been doing it. And this pepsin, this says, I'm tired. I'm tired of working for you because you're not doing the job. You're not chewing. You're not digesting. And the longer it does that, it finally gets tired. And the lack of breaking down protein eventually begins to put stress on your kidneys. And we're going to look in a few minutes, and you'll be able to judge based on what your report says with pepsin. And then we'll be able to look at your kidneys and see what kind of stress you may have been putting on your kidneys. But do you understand what I'm saying when I say about the animal protein? See, oftentimes, and this blew me away when I first learned this, when I went through this training with Dr. Prince, any animal's temperature that's higher than ours is what causes our body to work harder to digest it. Therefore, what does it do? It stays in the body longer and it begins to be stored as waste. Now, most of us, our normal body temperature is what? 98.5, 98.6. Okay, so now I'm talking to all of you that are cow lovers. You love your beef. Well, guess what? The body temperature of the cow is higher than yours. So that means your body's got to work harder. But some of you like your pork. Yeah, I know. Fried pork chops, grill, you say, okay, but I grill mine. It's still pork. And it has a higher body temperature than yours. So now your body has to work harder to digest it. Oh my goodness. What time of season is it right now? Yes. You wonder why folk go to sleep during Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving dinner? Look at the turkey body temperature. The normal body temperature of the turkey is higher than the cow and the pig. So by the time our body works, see, you think you're getting energy from eating food. No, your body is conserving energy. It's using energy to even get the food broke down inside your body. Pepsin is working. Chicken. I told y'all, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, all the chicken lovers in the house, where you say, okay, I air fry my chicken. Okay, but it's still the chicken. Now, you may be fixing it a different way, but the normal body temperature is higher than ours, so it's much more difficult for us to break it down. But then look at the fish. That's why so many people become pescatarians, because they can do the fish and the salmon, and their body temperature is lower than ours. So therefore, it's much easier to digest. All right, so enough of that. I know, okay? So now let's get into the second part of this report. The peristalsis, the gastric peristalsis. Peristalsis is a muscle that helps to move your food, oh yeah, to the anus so you can have those bowel movements. Okay, now I'm talking to all the folks looking at your report. What does it say? Is it on the blue, the yellow, or the red? Meaning you're not having them like you should be. You're not going as often as you should be, or maybe you're not even having them as complete as you should be. And you know, if you're not dealing with constipation, that peristalsis is just like a toothpaste. You know how you get your toothpaste and you keep pushing it up, and sometimes you roll it all the way up? Well, if you've been doing that day in and day out because of the animal protein that you've been taking in, peristalsis says, I'm tired. And it's not functioning. And that's what's causing you to have the lack of the bowel movements. That's what's causing you to have the constipation in your life that you're having. Peristalsis. We've got to cleanse this out. If you don't flush a toilet, it gets backed up. So now we need to flush and we need to cleanse our body. And then once you have so much of this going on in your gastrointestinal area over time, as well as mucus building up, guess what? You can't even absorb your food. I mean, you could be eating the right things. You could be taking the right vitamins. But over time, because of a crowded gastrointestinal area, there's no room for things to work. You're not absorbing your food. And when mucus build up, where does that mucus come from? Cooked food. Yeah, every time you cook, every time you heat something up, it's causing mucus. And even other things in your diet. Okay, I keep telling y'all, don't shoot the messenger. The cheese, oh yeah, the milk. They told the lie, the biggest lie they told us. Milk does the body good. All of these things are causing excess mucus to cause us not to be absorbing our food. See, it's not what you take, it's how much are you absorbing what you take. And when you've got the mucus that comes from all these things, it's hindering the nutrients that you would be getting from that vitamin A, C, or E, or that spinach that you're eating to get through your bloodstream. And then we wonder why we have all these allergies and colds and deficiencies. How many of you recognize this? I'm from Texas, and this is the way barbecue is served, and this is the way folk buy a 4-meat plate. Yeah, I know, right? Maybe you got hungry right now, but look at this 4-meat plate. What do you see? You see meat, 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 meat. Animal protein, right? And then you see coleslaw that's got stuff in it to cause mucus, and potato salad, and the bread. But I'm going to give some of you a solution for you to start doing this weekend. Yeah, you heard me right, this weekend. I just want you, here's where I want you to start. Add some raw to your plate. Every single time you eat. I heard Dr. Prince say this the other day, and it just blessed my heart, and I added this slide to this. Add some raw to your plate. Start somewhere, all right? Now let's get back to the gastrointestinal function. The small intestines, let's look at this. Now the same terminology applies from the stomach area, the gastrointestinal, as it does to the small intestines. Peristalsis and absorption. Look at your report. Is it in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Then that means your small intestines is not absorbing. You're not absorbing like you should. You're not having the movement from that muscle to get to the toilet like you should in your small intestines. In this case, it was in the green, but you got to look at your report and see where is it so you can know we've got to clean all this up. That's why we're going to talk about a full body cleanse. And then the large intestines. Oh my goodness, here's your colon. Because guys tell me all the time, I had a colonoscopy. Well, that's just your colon. You see what we've been talking about? We've been talking about the gastrointestinal. We've been talking about the stomach. We've been talking about the small intestines, not just the colon. But let's look at this colon. Same terminology, peristalsis and the absorption. And then guess what? So if we took our large intestines and pulled it out, they say that it would be the length of a quarter of a football field, but it's not made like that. And that's why we got to understand it's got to go through all this, going in different directions to get us to the stool. And when we've been clogged up and waste, W-A-S-T-E, is clogged up and sitting in the walls of our intestines, that's why we're not digesting properly. And many times the intestinal bacteria has built up over time. What is it on your report? Is your intestinal bacteria to the left, on the left with the blue, the yellow, or the red? More than likely, something on the screen is in your diet. Even stress, even alcohol, coffee, the nicotine, the caffeine, the tobacco, all of these things cause that intestinal bacteria. And then lastly, on this particular large intestines report is intraluminal pressure coefficient. Well, if it's on the right, it's working harder than it should. And that's why when you feel that bloating, you feel that pressure in your gut, you ate something and it looks like it's just sitting there, that pressure that moves stool through your intestines, it can become so excessive that it can result in constipation, or it becomes inadequate where it contributes to diarrhea or incomplete evacuation. You just go to the bathroom and you do a little bit, and you go to the bathroom again, you do a little bit. So you're not evacuating as efficiently as you should. And part of the things is because I didn't learn about digestion when I was coming up. When I went through my certification with Dr. Prince, it was so mind blowing, the things that I began to understand. I mean, just think about everything that you eat has its own digestive process. And according to the Mayo Clinic, it takes a long time. I mean, can you imagine waiting 36 hours for your food to get through the entire colon? Who waits 36 hours before you eat? And I just want you to understand that there's waste sitting in our gut. Because just imagine if you had a plate with strawberries and you had some chicken and you had some rice, and you ate your strawberries first, your body, your digestive tract would say, oh, strawberries, fruit, I can handle that. Digestion, start chewing it up. That peristalsis and that peptin would go to work. But then all of a sudden you add the rice. Okay, now your digestive tract says, hold up, strawberries. We can't work on you because now we've got to work on this rice. And then all of a sudden now you add the chicken. And it says here, chicken without skin. I know yours has some skin on it. But guess what? Now your digestive tract says, wait a minute, I've got to start working on the chicken. And the rice sits there and the strawberries sit there because it's based on what's taking the longest to digest. And now over time, those strawberries start to ferment and you wonder why you've got bad breath. See, we've got waste. Every single one of us. I don't care, even if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, there's some things that are not completely digesting, and that's why it's imperative. Dr. Prince has all greens, and he still does a cleanse and a detox twice a year. All right, next report, liver. Turn to your liver report. I'll give you time to find it. Find that liver report, whether it's on your phone, whether you printed the paperwork out. Let's look at the liver because this is so crucial. Matter of fact, it's so crucial. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way back up to the top. The liver fat content. That is so important because do you understand what the liver does? You've got a vehicle and every 3,000 or so miles, you change the oil. But you don't just change the oil, you also change the oil filter. Now, if you didn't change the filter and only change the oil, guess what? It would still be dirty. Well, guess what the job of the liver is? It's a filter. The job of the liver is to filter the blood. Maybe you ate something, maybe there were toxins, and if the liver's filtering, and let's look at your liver. Where is it? If it's in that blue, yellow, or red, you've got a fatty liver. A fatty liver is not filtering out like it should be. It's hardening, starting to harden. I never will forget this because the first time I did a bioscan, my liver was in the red. And no, now my liver's in the green because I've cleansed and I've detoxed enough times to get it to the green. And as a result of that, now you don't longer have dirty blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. And so it relates to everything else, even the protein metabolism and the energy production function and the detoxification function and the bile secretion. See, the job of the liver is to detox the body. It is the filtering system. And we don't recognize that liver disease does not happen overnight. And we think that I was taught the only people that had cirrhosis of the liver were alcoholics. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you come to this tonight and you see that your liver is fatty, I don't care where it is, if it's in the blue, if it's in the yellow or the red, it's progressing. And if you leave here and decide to do nothing, you say, well, I'm not doing, I just see this. But if you do nothing, it keeps progressing in the wrong direction. That's why it's important for us to cleanse and to detox our liver as well as all of the other bodily organs, because we want to go back to a healthy liver. Did you hear what I said? It's reversible. Regardless of what you're looking at tonight, it is reversible. Now let's go to your next report is the kidneys. Yes, the kidneys. Kidney function. And we've got 4 items that are tested in your kidneys. Looking at your report, the kidneys is the filtration system. You got the UroB. I like to, Coach Sharon said this the other night. They call it the UroBill for short. Bilinogen is the whole word, but all of this is related to how well your kidneys are filtering. Now, do you remember me saying something about the pepsin earlier? Over time, it's not working. It's putting a stress on your kidneys. So look at your kidney report. Is it to the right? All of these will be to the right, the uric acid. And you see, I've got the uric acid in the red because I sometimes see people that I scan, and when their uric acid is in the red, they are already experiencing gout, because uric acid crystallizes and it gets in your joints and your hands and goes down to your knees and goes down to your big toe. And they tell me that's quite painful. Now, I haven't experienced that and I don't want to, but I've known people that have gout and they are in pain. And it's directly related to uric acid, which is directly related to that animal protein. Also, something that causes that uric acid to go to the red, to the blue, the yellow, and the red is medication. Yeah, it's the chemicals that our body was not designed for. God didn't make our body for the chemicals. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling anybody to get off your medication. But one of the goals of our program is to help you lessen that and eventually get off. We want the doctor to be on board to say to you, oh, your blood pressure is regulated now. Let's lessen this. Let's get you off of this. And at some point, you still got to take control of your own health. And then proteinuria. See, our body naturally produces protein. So over time, we've got to recognize, because it's naturally producing protein, and then we add more animal protein to it. Yep, you saw all the different animals I talked about. When I say that, you're adding all that in and day out, for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. For breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. Well, it bleeds over into your urine because now your body has too much protein. So pepsin and the peristalsis is not functioning as good as it should be, and it's bleeding over into this area of your kidney, putting a stress on your kidneys. And that's what leads, it's progressive, to kidney disease. I'm going to say it again. Nobody's on dialysis overnight. It's over time. And that dialysis is nothing more than a man-made filtration system that then they've got to keep you on medication to continue to do this until they can find you a kidney. And then they got to still give you medication because they've given you somebody else's kidney. The last report we're going to look at tonight is relating to your body. Is it acidic or is it alkaline? Now, I often ask people, do you understand those terminologies? They'll say, yes, I've heard of it, but I don't understand them. Well, here's my example. You go to the store, you buy a Duracell battery, and they call that battery an alkaline battery. You put that battery in your player, your remote. Back in the day, you put it in a boom box. We used to get all them big old D batteries, and you play it, 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 right? Because it's lost is what? Alkalinity. And now it's acidic. Same thing happens to our body. Our body over time, because of our diet, because of the food that we eat, because of the toxins, and because of stress, goes toward being alkaline to being acidic. Why is that important? Because disease does not dwell in an alkaline environment, but it thrives in an acidic body. So when you look at that final report, especially on that bottom, the pH, let me talk about that first, the pH. Notice there's no blue and there's yellow. It's either green or red. You're either alkaline or you're acidic. But I'll give you some good news. I'll give you a little bit. Look at the number, because you may be pretty close. Like in this situation, 3.003. Well, that's 0.1 away from being in the green. So that means if this person does a detox, it's quite likely that they might, because it's just 0.1 away from being alkaline, they might be in the green. But it's surely after a few detoxings, they get there in the green. But it's not just the pH that gets off, because when the pH is off, there's some other things that are off. You're not responding. You are going off on everybody. You just think you have an attitude, but it's your response ability. Instead of reacting, you're responding. Your mental power, your water shortage, how much water you're drinking, the water shortage that surround the cells of your gut body to protect it, as well as the hypoxia, which is related to the oxygen around the cells of your body. All of this has a direct relationship to your body being acidic or your body being alkaline. And when you look at this chart, where do you spend most of your time? Are you spending most of your time in 3, 4, 5, and 6? Is that where most of your diet is? Or are you spending most of your time in 7, 8, 9, and 10? That's where we've got to be. And if you don't do anything when you leave this analysis tonight, I challenge you to spend more time on 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's where we're going to have you, if you choose to follow our program and begin to get your reversal. We call it age reversal, because guess what? Biologically, you start feeling better. You start doing better. You get your energy level back. Chronologically, we can't reverse the age, but biologically, because it's based on your cells rejuvenating, dying, growing, it's a process that we learned way back in the day when we were in school. But you got to stop eating the crap. Stop eating the carbonated drinks, refined sugars, the artificial foods, and the processed foods, and heed to the warning. Your bioscan report is a warning. It's progressive. Remember that. But it's reversible. I live in Texas and we have hurricanes. And when they say something on television saying there's something brewing in the Gulf, we do something about it. We don't just hear the report and do nothing. We go grocery store, we buy more water, we board up the windows, we get batteries so we can have in case the electricity goes. All of that is in case. It may not even come. But I'm challenging you tonight that if you've seen your own report and we've gone through this, I'm saying, let's do something. Let's recharge our battery inside of us, because every individual has the potential to become a rechargeable battery by detoxing and becoming alkaline. What do you have to do? Flush. Flush out these toxins and this mucus and this waste and these parasites and this plaque buildup by juicing, eating fruits and vegetables. So now you say, okay, but Dr. Roz, I hear what you're saying. What's my next step? What do I need to do? Well, I'm going to get out the way just for a few minutes, and I'm going to let a lady that I speak highly of, I'm impressed with her. I honor her so much, Anna Gallagher. She's a mother, grandmother, entrepreneur. She's an Econopreneur, and she's a certified wellness coach here at Econo. And she's going to share with you now what you need to do to get started to begin to flush this body out. Miss Anna, are you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to talk about select one or the other, 7-day refresh or 21-day reset. Both of these includes your meal plan, your grocery list, and proven products to help you repair, renew, and reset. Now, on the 7-day refresh, you're going to jumpstart your healthy journey. Lose unwanted pounds and refresh the mind, body, and soul in just 7 days. With your 21-day cleanse, it's going to help you repair, renew, and reset your mind, body, and soul. Reduce belly fat and inflammation and drop the waist in 21 days. Step 1, the eliminator. This eliminates excess mucus and parasites. This is a powder you're going to take 1 teaspoon every morning that you're on your cleanse and 8 ounces of water. It's going to do exactly what it says. Step 2, the purifier. This cleans the colon and detoxifies bodily organs. This is going to be your detox tea. This bag contains a tea bag, and you're going to boil 40 to 45 ounces of water, drop the tea bag in, let it sit out overnight with the lid on it. The next morning, you are going to pour it in a pitcher or a jar, whatever your choice is, and drink the first day 4 ounces of this liquid in the morning and another 4 ounces in the evening before 8 o'clock. The rest of the time, you will only be drinking 4 ounces in the evening before 8 o'clock each day. Step 3, this is the regenerator. Now it replenishes your vitamins and your minerals. You're going to add 2 teaspoons to your juice. You're going to be juicing and drinking 16 ounces of juice for women, 24 for men. You will be given a juice recipe so you'll know what vegetables and what fruits that you will be juicing. This regenerator contains about 14 to 16 different herbs and minerals. You can see them on the screen. It's going to really regenerate your body. It's awesome. These are just a few of the items that you will need. Flaxseed or flaxseed oil, cayenne pepper, liquid chlorophyll, alkaline water, aloe vera juice, raw salad, spinach, kale, mixed greens with vegan or non-dairy dressing, balsamic dressing, fruit, nuts, and seeds, not honey roasted, you all. So remember that. So all of these are things that you will need to help you do the 7-day or 21 days. Flat Belly Buster, hemp protein. You can add this to your juice or smoothie. This is the number 4 product. Free grocery guide, free group coaching. These are the people or persons that I call our flat belly warriors. They have all did the 21-day cleanse, and you're looking at before and after. So these are real people. These are not actors, guys. And right now we're going to let you hear from our CSO, how she took the pledge and did the 21 days and how it helped her.
I was able to lose 14 pounds, 6 inches. And I love the way I look. I'm not gonna lie, I am loving this. But let me tell you what I love even more. I dropped my cholesterol 50 points, blood pressure stabilized. And my doctor and I had been fighting for the last 5 years because she wanted to put me on a statin, and I absolutely refused. And she told me I would never change my cholesterol, lowered by diet alone. Well, you can know how excited I felt when I had dropped it 50 points. I want to be optimally healthy until the day I just close my eyes and I'm not here anymore. I hope you join us.
We have discovered the most powerful superfruit on planet Earth. It's called the Arona berry. This is supposed to be step 4 optional, but guys, I will say right now, don't make it optional. This Arona berry, it accelerates weight loss. It tastes delicious. It reduces inflammation, and you only drink 1.5 ounces twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. And the ORIC score is 41,000 plus. That's off the chain. You're saying ORIC score, what is that? This helps us understand how effective a berry or a fruit is in protecting ourselves from damage caused by harmful substance in our body. The higher the score, the better it is at keeping us healthy. And look at that score. After the reset or refresh, choose from 3 options. You have flexible, the plant-based, and age reversal. You choose the one that you want to start using, and let's get busy. And back to you, Dr. Roz, our super mentor, our super teacher. We love it. And wonderful, the wellness queen, you go, girl. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Thank you, Miss Anna. So listen, now you know how to get this done. So now let's talk about what you need to do. So first and foremost, many of you had the scan, and if you didn't know it, there are 45 areas of your body that were scanned. Now, somebody showed you 4 areas, or they might have showed you 6 areas of your body. But here's what I suggest. You want to know what's taking place all over your body, because there's some other areas, and just for $30, you can definitely find out, get back with the person who scanned you, the scan coach, because you may want to know what's going on with your gallbladder or your blood sugar. You might want to know what your vitamin deficiencies are, or what things are causing you to have allergies or skin conditions. If you're a lady, you're a woman, you want to know what's going on in the breasts. And if you're a man, you may want to know what's going on in your prostate. So get back with the person who invited you here, and you can get that full bioscan report. And you can email them, you can talk to them, and Zelle them or Cash App them. They'll let you know what they're, and different areas cost different amounts. So you might want to get with the person, find out exactly what it takes for that to happen. The second thing is, because we want you to eat right, once you do this detox, we don't want it to just be one and done. We want it to become a lifestyle. And it starts with you knowing your blood type. See, really your blood type. How many of you know your blood type? If you know it, put it in the chat right now. Are you an A, a B, an AB, or an O? If you don't know your blood type, you're eating in the dark, because your blood type is a more reliable measure of your identity than your race, your culture, your geography. It's the genetic blueprint of who you are. Because when you're eating in the dark, you're eating something that might be toxic to your blood type. I mean, do you know that if you're a blood type A, you should not be eating bananas? I mean, definitely you shouldn't be eating them every day, even if you eat them every now and then. It's not what you do some of the time, it's what you do most of the time. If you're a blood type B, chicken is not your friend, because every blood type has the antigen that's needed to help to digest that particular food. And if you don't know that, you're doing damage to your body. That's why you got bloating. That's why you've got an autoimmune disease. That's why you can never lose any weight, because now your body's saying, I can't do it. I'm working hard. So if you don't know, guess what? Get back with the person that invited you to this presentation. They've got an access to a blood type testing kit. Very simple test. It's got everything in it that you need to get the blood type test. You say, oh, I got to call my doctor. Well, they might look at you kind of funny, want to know why you want to know, because it's your blood. This only takes about 5 minutes to do, and you can do it yourself in the comfort of your home. But now let's talk about the cleanse, the detox. Let's get it done. What are you going to do? If you had things that were in the red, even in the yellow, let me be the first to suggest to you that you need to do 21 days. 21 days. Miss Anna went through the eliminator, the purifier, the regenerator. That's what you're going to use. Now, you're also going to get a protein powder that you can use after you finish your 21 days, or after you finish your 7 days, to give you things that you need to continue on with your post regimen. And then out of Aronia Berry, let me tell you something. She told you it's off the chain. But now, which way do you want to need to do it? Now, I tell people, some people tell me, well, I can't go raw because this is all raw. You're turning the stove off, you're doing juicing, and you're doing these powders inside your juice, and you're eating fruits, vegetables, and salad, all raw. Turn the stove off, light bill goes down. Some people say, well, I don't know if I can go with no meat for 21 days. Well, listen, let's start somewhere. Please start somewhere. Don't watch this. Don't look at your report. and do nothing. Do something. All right? And now is a great time to do it. You can start right after Thanksgiving. In between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can get it done. Or you can make up your mind that I'm going to get it done starting in the brand new year. Matter of fact, we're going to have a company corporate thing taking place starting January the 8th. And we want you to be a part of that and join us. This Aronia berry juice, I drink it every single day. And then there's some of you, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you this. If you do the 21-day cleanse, there's going to be a transformation. I can say that. We don't make claims. We don't say it's going to cure. We say it's going to reverse. But what's going to happen is you're going to look different. Not only are you going to feel different, you're going to look different. And somebody's going to ask you, what did you do? What happened? Tell me what you did. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to tell them what you did and send them to your website? So if you're going to do the 21-day cleanse that costs $350, what about just going a little bit further, and for $3.99, you'll get the 21-day cleanse, and you'll get some of our other products like our pain cream and our gummies. Oh my God, we've got so many testimonies regarding our pain cream, and you're going to get some samples to share with other people, but you get your own website so people can go to your website and get that 21-day cleanse. Or if you're like me, I realize I love to help people. And let me tell you something. Somebody did a bioscan for you. How would you like to be the person that does that? We need more coaches. We need coaches in every nook and every cranny. You've heard Dr. Prince say that we just got to get coaches everywhere all over the country. And so for just $2,000, right at $2,000, it says $14.99 up there, but I'm including the bioscan equipment because the $14.99 doesn't include the bioscan. You want that bioscan equipment. So just right at $2,000, you can become a certified wellness coach. We want you. We need you. We need to touch and save people's lives, help them turn things around, and we want you to be a part of that if it's your desire to do so. But either way, let's get started, because a detox is your opportunity to give your body a break and allow your own self-cleansing and your self-healing process to kick into gear. So join us tonight, Elevate with Akana, and welcome to the family. Thank you so much tonight, everybody. Thank you for being a part of what we were doing here. We were excited to be able to have this presentation, this analysis. If you've got any questions, please definitely get back with the person, the coach that invited you here, and let's move forward. Let's get your report. Let's get your full report in your hands. Let's get the cleanse products, no matter when you say you're going to start. If you're starting after Thanksgiving, you need to get your products now. If you're starting in January, you need to get your products now. So everything will be in place. And that coach is going to walk you through the regimen, what you need to do, how you need to do it. You'll be doing it for yourself, but you won't be doing it by yourself. All right? So have a wonderful weekend.
Dr. Rice?
Yes.
We have a question in the chat.
All right. Hold on a second. Let me do this.
Ms. Diana wants to know, what if you don't have a gallbladder?